Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
A new season begins in upstate New York, and the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup is back for its 26th season, kicking things off at the high-speed cup layout of Watkins, Glen. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth, as almost always, is Larry Lefty McLeod with Jonathan Grabowski, working behind the scenes, giving you all the best views of tonight's action. This championship brings two distinct battles to the track. In TCR, it's a mix of modern touring car machinery, the Hyundai Elantra and Veloster, the Honda Civic, and the newly updated Audi RS3, all built for aggressive door-to-door racing. Alongside them, the GR class, for you Toyota GR86 aficionados, delivers pure momentum racing, or poor momentum racing, where precision, racecraft, and patience make all the difference. Every round this season follows a proven format, two 30-minute sprint races, but with a small twist. The top 10 finishers in each class will be inverted for race 2, turning the second race into a charge through the field and putting strategy, overtaking, and discipline front and center. Watkins Glen's Cup, or short course layout, means speed, heavy braking, and a constant pressure with no time to settle in and no time for mistakes. A fresh championship, a full grid, and 2 races to open the season, Larry.
It is going to be an exciting night, Greg. Welcome to season 2025, 26, something like that.
Something like that.
But it's going to be exciting because we've got these updated TCR cars. I'm excited to see these. I haven't even had a chance to drive them yet. Bobby Childs has, and I'll get to see how well he can do here tonight in a TCR. What's Bobby doing in front-wheel drive? We'll find out. But we've got that. Of course, we'll have our GR86s as well. I'm excited. This should be super entertaining tonight. 2 big classes, lots of folks signed up. Everyone's got a bit of a buzz here for the opening round.
Yes, they do. And Larry, we are right in the midst of our qualifying session. We give the drivers 15 minutes and 4 flying laps in order to set their fastest laps and set the grid for tonight's race. Currently, Aaron Beaver from D2D Sim Racing, newly joined with D2D Sim Racing, is your provisional leader. That's his cooldown lap at the moment. He has a 1:14.11 in the books, and he is driving one of the Honda Civic TCR machines. Steven Hudek, who's already wrapped up his qualifying, almost identical lap times. I mean, within just a couple thousandths of a second. Look at that. What is it? 106. I can't even tell. It's like 106 to 112. So quick. 1/1000ths of a second separating those two drivers. And over in the GR86 class, also completing his 4 flying laps in the Samantha Tan Racing esports team, Cameron Martineau, with a qualifying time of 1:20.82, only 9/100ths of a second clear of Travis Schwenke from the Orion race team. And, Larry, we've had so many new racers show up here. We've got a bunch of racers from Velocity Motorsports joining us. We've got some old faces like the folks from Lead Paw. And I think, just like you, Larry, I want to see what Bobby Childs
Speaking of old faces, or
yeah.
old, it's Bobby. Yes, no, we're excited about that. But the livery on his cars look great as always. Bobby does a great job there. Of course, the Orion team's going to be out here, and we've got lots of teams coming in, lots of new faces, old faces. These cars, new cars, revised cars. This is just all kinds of cool things going on tonight that I'm excited to see.
I am as well. Let's do this, Larry. So to get a better feel for everything that we're going to see in this, it's a short season. It's only 5 rounds long. But let's bring in Jeff Jacobs. He is the vice president for road racing with Extreme Motorsports. And not only is he racing tonight, he's going to tell us everything that's happening in TCC.
All right, joining us tonight, pre-race, is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeff Jacobs, here to talk a little bit about this new season of this slightly tweaked series. Jeff, how are things going here as we get ready for the first round?
Yeah, hey there, Lefty and Greg. Great to see you all here for another season. Really excited to come back now with the Touring Car Cup, sponsored by Ricmotech. And we got, as you may have noticed, we have all of the TCR cars. Last season, we did just the Elantra, but this time we're like, hey, pick any one of the 4 you want. You got that new Audi out there. I think people are excited about that. Mm-hmm. And but people kind of picked, right? There doesn't seem to be a clear favorite at this point. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the season. And then just an incredible turnout for the GR class. And so 2 really strong fields. I think it's going to provide some exciting competition.
Yeah, it looks like it. In fact, it looks like we've got some old faces that have come back. We've got some teams that are building. Tell me a bit about, I guess, some of the new folks, new teams that are jumping in here for this season.
Well, I think one interesting story that we're going to have to watch here at the beginning of the season is who's going to be the new TCR leader. Because we look at last season, you had Bailey Piotrowski, taking the championship. He's not back this season. Eric Violet was second, but he's not back this season. So maybe an open spot there. We're going to see who rises to the top of that TCR class. In practice, I mean, they were just thousands off of each other. So some really close competition there. And then you go over to the GR86s, and we certainly can anticipate the last 2. Our champion, Robert Schwenkler, is going to be looking to defend that title. But Andrew Sharp kept him, honest all season long. He's back. And we've got a couple other quick folks out there in those GR86s. So we'll see if it ends up being the Robert and Andrew show again, or if we'll have a few more folks mixing it up with them.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Love having some of the depth here, but the closest, as you were talking about, we just looked real quick at qualifying so far. Your top 3 in TCR on the same 10th. Your top 3 in the GR86s are on the same 10th as well. It is unbelievably tight. Did we anticipate we'd have this close a racing in this kind of a series?
I think so, or at least especially this track, right? And this configuration of this track. It's going to test the drivers, I think, a little bit about, how are they going to play with the draft? When's going to be the right time to make that move so you end up in the right spot at that final, lap of the race? And so it should be interesting. And you'll also will notice, I'm sure, that the drivers have already figured out that the off tracks are somewhat relaxed on this particular
Yes.
configuration.
Yes.
Yeah, the cup layup definitely allows for some of that flexibility. I had seen that in a public race actually in this configuration recently, and was shocked at how liberal there are with those 1Xs. You basically have to hit a wall to get it off track here at Watkins Glen, which will
Yeah.
make
Or,
things
or
very
take the boot
interesting.
by mistake.
Yeah,
Or
and,
take the
we
boot,
kind of
yeah.
designed the schedule this year so that we're going to start off here with some speed, right, and some drafting and so forth. But then we're going to move on to Alton Park. We're going to move on to VIR, right? Some very good, just real road racing, right? Tracks. We'll see how that separates folks, if that'll change things around a little bit. But then we go to Mossport, and they're at Canadian Tire, and that's always another fun one. But again, a fast one, draft, right? And you just hold on to the draft as long as you can, and then really challenge those final laps, and then we'll finish things up in Portland. And the other thing that I enjoy about this series that's a little different from our other series is we're going to do all of these as the 30-minute sprints. And I think that
Yeah.
it does a couple
Yeah.
of things. You have some bad luck in race one, you get a chance to reset, and it gives folks a chance to maybe spread those points out a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Tonight, for sure, with as close as these times are, you got to figure, if we get to the end of a first race, perhaps, regardless of what happens, you're going to invert, and it's going to be that much tougher to work your way through the field. But get to those other tracks, things could change. But I think it's going to be exciting with these 30-minute sprints. Don't have to worry about fuel stops or anything, but the strategy of you got to make up positions, you got to score points each and every round, including those 30-minute rounds each week, is going to make things pretty tough for us. So we're looking so forward to what we've got here in front of us tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting too to kind of see. We've got a couple of big teams in there, right? You've got the Orion team, who's always fast. Velocity Motorsports, which you have already mentioned, has shown up in some big numbers out here. So we're going to see what kind of statement they can make. The D2D guys are back out there again with Bobby and Chris and David. So that'll be fun to see. And of course the Wrong Stuff. Folks are out there. They're always front runners as well. So the team competition out there should be good as well.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm always rooting for an underdog. You know me, those number one seeds when they go down. That is definitely my favorite time of the year. Not to get, too much into things that may be happening in other places, but
Basketball.
but anyway, no, we're excited. We are excited for
Football
tonight.
season start yet?
Football season's around the corner. Basketball season in Florida has ended, unfortunately. But anyway,
A little early. Yep.
a little bit. But anyway, so good luck tonight, and we'll see how things work out for you. Maybe we'll get a chance to
Sounds
talk to you at
good.
the end.
All right.
All right, there
Thanks,
you go,
Jeff.
everybody. That is Jeff Brooks from the SCCA
Jeff
Foundation team, and of course,
Is
did
he
I
a
say
Brooks
Jeff
brother
Brooks?
now?
Yeah,
did.
but maybe not Jeff Brooks. Maybe maybe that's the other Jeff. Maybe that's Jeff Jacobs from the SCCA
Yes.
Foundation. There we go. And he is also the vice president for motorsports with Extreme Motorsports. All right, Larry, qualifying is over. It is time to go racing here for round number 1 at Watkins Glen. Let's run down the starting order. I'll give them the TCR machines. If you can pick up the Toyotas here just a moment, starting on pole for D2D Sim Racing, driving his Honda Civic. It is Aaron Beaver with Steven Hudek, only 5/1000ths of a second off in the SRT Esports Hyundai, starting on the outside of the front row. Then we've got Casey Knight from Lead Paw Racing. Casey is driving one of the Hyundai Elantras. He will start third with Dan Carrizo from WBM Racing. He finished third in the championship last season. He is going to start fourth in his Honda Civic. Then we've got D2D's Chris Thorman. Chris is the first of our drivers driving the brand new revision of the Audi RS3. He's going to start right alongside his D2D teammate, David Payton. Then we've got Chase West from the Wrong Stuff. Chase is another Audi driver here. The number 757 machine starts 7th with Dale Maxwell from the other guys. Dale is driving the number 111 Hyundai, and he starts 8th. Then we've got Bobby Childs. Can't wait to see him hang the rear end of that Civic out. The number 17 machine starts 9th. Noah Hogg, if he makes the grid, will start 10th. Noah's in the Velocity Motorsports Audi. And then we've got Pan Hirday in the Lead Paw Racing Hyundai, and Jasper Pasternak No, he doesn't play for the Bruins. He is racing for Velocity Motorsports, and he will start 12th.
All right, let's talk about our GR86s on the pole tonight in the Samantha Tan Racing. Cameron Martineau going to be leading the way there. Alongside him is going to be the first of our Orion race teams. That's Travis Schwenke, less than a tenth behind the pole sitter. Row 2, it's going to have that flying Canadian from Orion. Mike Dam will be on the inside. Alongside him from Tomas Ang Sim Racing, Lucas Dragoda. Row 3, it's going to be the Wrong Stuff's Joey Rutledge taking the inside alongside Orion race team's Robert Hartley. Row 4, another Wrong Stuff driver. This time it's Robert Schwenkler right behind his teammate, but on the right side, he'll be lined up with Josh Chinsky, SRT Esport. On row 5, Joel Singleton from 3G Racing. Alongside him, it's going to be Ruby Nakamata from Samantha Tan Racing. On row 5, Josh Vidal, HSR Phantom, and Andrew Sharp, Rapid Theft Racing. Then we've got the fan favorite from OHND Racing, Aaron Sunday, alongside Chris Graves from OMOS. Behind them, Russ Ruddock, the flying tortoise himself, alongside Doug Klimovich from now known as the Other Guys. Next row back, Logan Jones, Velocity Motorsport, and Drake Miller, also the teammate there at Velocity. Behind them, John Casey, Frito Sport Racing, alongside Chris Hampton, Leadpaw. And then you've got Ricky Tharp from Velocity Motorsports.
All right, and so Larry, taking a look here, Robert Schwenkler from the Wrong Stuff does not appear to have taken the grid in his Toyota. And then Ricky Tharp and Noah Hogg, both from Velocity Motorsports. Tharp in his Toyota and Hogg in his Audi TCR car have not left the pit lane, so it looks like they will have a pit lane start right at the rear of the field. As we do have our TCR cars, they will take the green first, and they are then going to have a nice big gap back to our Toyota drivers. We saw them just coming through the outer loop a moment ago.
Yeah, quick update there. Schwenkler looks like he had a connection issue, packet loss, the famous packet loss there. So we'll see if he can get back in before things go green, but he's going to lose at least a lap there for Robert Schwenkler.
All right, pace car now heading to the pit lane, turning the field over to Aaron Beaver and Stephen Hudak as they come to the front straight to wait for the starter to give the command to go, and green flag is in the air. The racers, they cannot pull out a line until the start-finish stand right now as they head down into one. Stephen Hudak in the Hyundai from the outside, the SRT Esport machine. He runs wide through the 90. He can do that in the NASCAR version. Can he carry that momentum to the lead as they go up through the S's? He is still side by side with our pole sitter, Aaron Beaver, dropping in behind Casey Knight from Leadpaw Racing and Dan Carrizo in the WBM Racing Machine as our GR86s now get the green flag and they head down into turn one. Cameron Martineau ahead of Travis Schwenke with Lucas Dragoda and his teammate Mike Dam right alongside. Actually, I think it was all three Orion racers side by side, and Joey Rutledge, though, gets the position away from Mike Dam, but not for long. Dam and Hartley and Rutledge all side by side as they come out of the S's and make the run.
Oh, that's the big one.
Contact, and that is Mike Dam and Joel Singleton going off, coming out of the S's, and another love tap.
That was Aaron Sunday.
Oh,
just
no.
Went around. Yeah, and the 331, there he is trying to do that quick recovery. Yeah, this is going to be definitely some cars damaged. Lots of cars into the wall here on the opening lap. There's a good shot of Aaron taking the shortcut. He's got damage.
Oh, man.
Trying to just stay on the outside through that outer loop. Let's catch a replay on where we are. Let's focus in on Joel Singleton there in that number 10. He's on the right lane as they come to the end of the S's towards the back straight, and he's just hugging the inside, nowhere to go, and he gets hit by the Orion. And is that Mike Dam?
That was Mike Dam along with Singleton as they came down out of the S's, Larry.
And then Singleton,
way,
yeah, unfortunately Singleton just went into a spin after that. Let's watch for Aaron Sunday. He ends up the victim here as Singleton looks like he comes back on the track right in front of Aaron Sunday and nowhere to go.
No.
And he ends up on the inside wall with damage. Oh, that's a rough start.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Good thing that we had the Sunday $10 in escrow, Larry, and I think we may still manage to get a hold of that at the end of the evening. All right, as we go back to live action,
well,
and
the other thing
Stephen
we've got
Hudak
is
and Casey Knight. So the big question is, Larry, where was our pole sitter in TCR, and he has dropped back. Aaron Beaver now in 6th position behind Chris Thorman and David Payton from D2D Sim Racing. Let's see what happened here on the short course.
Yeah, let's see as they head in toward the inner loop. And they are all bunched up right there. Hudak gets a good line. Beaver gets caught out, runs wide to his right across that grass strip. Luckily, he's able to recover. But as you can see there, the two behind him sort of have to check up and wait for him. I don't think he fully recovers, and they end up with a better run than him down this the long straight back up towards pits.
Yeah, let's take.
Oh, as we catch. There we go. There's
so many errands, so little time.
All right, so this one's a replay of Casey Knight at the front of the pack, but there is Aaron Beaver there now, back down in the 6th spot. He's got a couple D2Ds there in front of him with Peyton and Thorman. They're running that new Audi, the all-new revamped Audi. You can see right
but
in
a
front of Aaron.
lot of changes in the TCR field. Actually, both the TCRs and the GR86 cars, Larry. The tire modeling had been updated in the TCRs as well, and some changes made to suspension settings. And then the GR86 Cup cars, I believe they're not quite as roly-poly as they used to be.
They've definitely worked on that aspect of them where they used to be very tippy. The Audi, the only one getting the full makeover here, as it's all new from the previous version. Everything else, though, just like you said, a little bit of tweak, some tire modeling, some suspension modeling, new and definitely improved in all cases.
All right, Larry, a drive-through penalty has been assigned to Josh Chinsky from SRT Esport, and I'm wondering if perhaps he was the one who started off that chain reaction there on the very first lap.
May have been, as that's the one that involved Mike Dam, as well as Joel Singleton, and that's the penalty in that instance. So, well, there are 2 races tonight. That's the one thing that if you're listening in, if you're Aaron Sunday and you got 7 minutes of repairs coming at you, at least you know that 23 minutes after that, you'll be lining up for race number 2.
All right, as we go on board, look out the back window of Cameron Martineau. He's got Lucas Dragotta from Thomas Eng Racing pushing him down the front straight, trying to get a little bit of breathing room for the 2 leaders back to Travis Schwenke and Joey Rutledge. And Larry, I think we're seeing here that nothing has changed about the draftability in these GR86s, much like the MX-5 Cup cars. They do on the long straights here can really pull up within the draft.
Yeah, one of the things about this place though is you can get next to someone in this draft, but it's hard to make the pass. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight in both of these classes, where there's going to be some trains for a while, but if somebody makes a mistake on, let's say, corner 1's exit and it hurts their chances up the hill, that's going to cost them. Same thing down that back straight after the outer loop. If you get a bad run through there or a bad exit of the inner loop, also known as the bus stop, then you're going to be struggling as well, giving up positions. But if you stay in line and you execute, you really will hold on to that position pretty well. It's tough to get by.
Yeah, because we talk all the time about, Larry, the long course with the boot and how difficult it is to pass here, just because you don't have your traditional threshold braking zones. Are probably the closest thing you get to it on the long course is going into the toe of the boot. And here on the short course, other than that brush of the brakes going into what's still called turn 10, you just don't have a lot of places where you're scrubbing off speed here.
Right. Yeah, this is very fast. And when you start driving this a couple times, you realize why NASCAR runs this layout. There's some corners, and some of them are a little bit of banking to them, but this is not exactly Daytona around here, but the speeds are still fast. These corners are quick, as you see right here as we're on board Joey Rutledge and the wrong stuff. That turn 10, much faster entry in this layout than you would have in the traditional full course, but turns 10, turn 11 are fast. There is just the slowest corner around here is corner 1.
All right, Josh Chinsky heads to the pit lane to take his drive-through penalty.
We'll see where that puts him. Obviously, he'll be thinking already about the second race is what that'll be coming up. As we're only 7 minutes into the first one, but we get 2 of these tonight, 30 minutes apiece.
That's right.
Look
And
at the
so,
bump drafting.
again, with race number 2, the top 10 finishers in the GR86 class, they will be inverted. Because of the number of racers that we have in TCR, we had 12 drivers take the green. The top 6 racers will be inverted in TCR. And look at this train now. All right, let's jump over now, Larry, to the D2D men, Chris Thorman, Aaron Beaver, and they have Chase West from
that's
Wrong Stuff,
close.
Dale Maxwell in close proximity there, as
That
they're
was
just
really
now coming up on the
close.
back of the Toyota field.
Yeah, that was Logan Jones there in that Toyota trying to stay out of the way of those TCRs, and not so easy as we go on board here with Chris Thorman from the D2D as he's trying to get around. That's Josh Chinsky on his left, and that was, of course, Josh just coming out of the black flag drive-through penalty he served.
Yeah, and that's got to be difficult when you try to shove that TCR car down underneath the Toyotas going through the outer loop, Larry, just because of the extra load you're putting on that left front tire, and that even with a shorter race, that could be an issue as time goes on.
Yep. Chinsky goes back to the pits.
I wonder if he maybe forgot the pit lane limiter and went through too quickly.
That would be unfortunate. As our overall leader, Casey Knight, now about a half a second advantage over Stephen Hudek and Dan Carrito. Now, Hudek and Carrito got to start thinking about working together a little bit, maybe even trying some bump and push if a little bit of a slippage in pace. They have, though, cleared the rest of the field. Peyton Thorman and Aaron Beaver back there about 3 more seconds back. This front 3 definitely a breakaway. And now you got the traffic. You got the back of the GR86 field. Going to make things interesting. Trying to see who those are that we're going past.
And Larry, look at this. Stephen Hudek making the pass on Casey Knight to take the lead. And Knight had a great lead coming out of the S's, and it all just disappeared right here as our TCR leaders tried to get underneath these Toyota 86 machines. And there you go. Look at the move as Casey Knight tried to go around the outside.
We've got a yellow. We've got a yellow thrown on this field. Hate to cut you off there, but we have to check and see what the cause of this would be.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick up what happened. I believe it was with the Toyotas, Larry. Obviously not at the front of the TCR field.
Yeah.
And here we...
And that's your contact. That's Russ Ruddick. And I think it's Dan Carrito in the 320, and then Ruddick just along for the ride, and everybody going with him. I see a couple of D2Ds in there. I see a Thorman.
Oh, my.
That might have been... Peyton may have gotten through there. Yeah, Peyton goes to the right, gets around it. Thorman, though, gets hit, as does Aaron Beaver, your pole sitter, right there in the middle of that as well.
Yeah, he got collected. He got collected as well. And so Beaver and Thorman are now on the pit lane. Robert Schwenkler, I believe, had gone to, well, Schwenkler's in the Toyotas, but looks like he had just left the pits.
I think the other one there in that shot might be Chris Graves, might be the other GR86 that ended up in the pits, the orange and white one.
Yeah.
There he is right there. I thought it was Graves. Maybe it was another one.
Yeah, Graves in the Toyota.
Yeah, there he is. There's the replay as he gets hit by Ruddick. Still not under control. All right, so let's wait and see what happens. This is interesting. Only a 30-minute race. We're under yellow now. We had run, let's see, about 8 laps. We're 10 minutes in when the flag came out.
An interesting call over the radio for those of you that were watching the Michelin Cup race from Sebring this past weekend, where we have the concept of the short yellows and the long yellows, and the short yellows mean that the pits stay closed and you can't go down. Now, of course, these are only 30-minute races where we don't expect the drivers to be stopping for fuel, for example, but technically the pit lane is closed unless, again, you've taken damage that you can't continue.
Well, I have a lot of leagues that I run in. We do use this yellow caution system built into iRacing. the way that it has to work, you throw the yellow. The first thing the system says, everything's under yellow, pits are closed until the field gathers. When it decides the field is gathered, it's typically then 2 laps to green, unless the administrator or steward reduces that to only 1. So typically your minimum 2, sometimes 3 laps for a caution period.
Yep.
I think we're starting already the second lap of this as Stephen Hudek's got the field behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
The pace car.
Yep, and what we're going to be doing, Larry, is they are going to be waving the Toyotas through.
Okay. And these, again, are some of the options you have when you set up multi-class racing in the sim, is you can set it as either lapped cars go by, multi-cars, you can send certain classes around.
Yeah.
So let's see what they decide
And I don't
to do.
think they're going to be sending all of the Toyotas around, Larry. That I think starting with Doug Klimovich, who is currently running 10th in the GR class. He is a lap down. Yeah, so they're going to give them a chance to unlap themselves.
Yep. And so that's exactly it. They're going to give the lapped cars that chance because they want the leader to be behind the pace car. And depending on wherever the pace car came out of the pits, they picked up the field, but they got to make sure they get those other ones back on the lead lap. And Klimovich will be one of them. We'll see who else perhaps may also be. I only see Klimovich so officially, but there's Doug, now known as the other guys, not
the other guys.
Slow Bros.
And Larry, looking in the chat, I think the other guys were really hoping to drive the BMW M2 this season.
Okay, let's touch on that while we have a yellow.
Yeah.
The original plan was to have the M2 part of this series, but unfortunately, the other guys might have been the only guys who wanted it. The participation was going to be
not
very
enough
low.
other guys, is what you're saying.
Not enough other guys, so they decided not to. There was plenty of support for the GR86 and for the TCRs, just not enough that really wanted that BMW. And other guys, slow bros, whatever you want to call yourselves, I'm not on your side on this one. I don't like that BMW. GR86 is a much more fun car to drive. My opinion, of course.
And if your hatred to Larry Lefty McLeod, or Larry, between the other guys and Rachel Sunday, you really need to look out for yourself on the off days.
I'm on Rachel's side right now. It's her internet that's letting her down. Apparently, she just posted in the chat, internet failed, adding insult to injury for Aaron Spin in repair, and now they got to wait for internet to come back.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I hope it's not the cable lawyer's company.
I hope it's back on in the next 16 minutes when we get to the end of this round and queue up for the second race.
All right, again, this is a 30-minute race, the first of 2 30-minute races tonight. And Larry, we are now halfway. And as our racers we're trying to get these wave arounds taken care of, and hopefully we can go back to racing this next time by. There we go. Rachel says they're back.
That's good. Just in time to watch the yellow.
All right, we've got at least one more car making the wave around.
Might be Ricky Tharp. Trying to see who that might have been that just got the extra wave around there, but lots of cars getting that right now. We did see some folks like Robert Schwenkler.
Yeah. It might actually be Josh Chinsky. Is that?
It's Singleton.
That's Singleton. Okay.
Yep, it's Singleton he's got the damage. He's got partial repairs. He's a lap down. He'll get some of that back here.
As I say, the one racer that probably should be getting the wave around would be Josh Chinsky. Of course, he lost a lap on the drive-through penalty.
Singleton is actually 5 laps down, so 1 lap's probably not going to help his race.
Not going to help much.
More laps of practice. Robert Schwenkler did get a lap back, which tells you he's in the race. He is still a lap down from the leaders,
right?
But he and Josh Chinsky are essentially nose to tail. There you go. There is Mr. Schwenkler, hopefully with his internet back under his control. All right, I haven't seen the 1 to green yet.
Yeah, just heard from race control area that we are 1 to green. We'll be going Yeah,
There we
lights
go.
are out on the pace car. We'll be going racing next time by.
Perfect. Well, this on the restart will be interesting. We had just before the yellow came out, we had seen Stephen Hudek make that pass on Casey Knight as they had gone around the outer loop with some traffic. Well, now there's no traffic in front of them. Everyone's behind them. Fair fight as we started this race right up in front. Hudek, Knight, Carrito, and then you've got the first of our D2Ds, David Payton, and then Chase West sitting there in 5th. That top 5 could be interesting. I like the chances here of Hudek. He's going to control the field. He's going to have an opportunity to get his own run, but we do know that Casey Knight can be a bit aggressive, so we'll see if the lead paw entry gets inside the SRT Esport on the first time down the back straight into the bus stop. And they are going to go single file on the restart. That'll help the leader as well and not have to be side by side. Also helps the rest of us reduce the number of yellows. I've seen enough side by side
Yeah.
pack up, pair up yellows that, what do they say? Yellows breed yellows?
Breed yellows, yeah. Well, any time, Larry, when cars are side by side going up through the S's here, I think you run the risk.
Just like lap 1.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
we'll be single file, and I think that'll be the rules of iRacing's. We'll see if the XMS series has overriding rules. iRacing rules are the second place car can't be ahead when the green comes out. But as soon as it comes out, it's a free-for-all. You can do whatever you want. We know that, of course, race starts when they're side-by-side. The series dictates you can't leave your lane until you're passing start-finish. There are no lanes in single-file restart, so
That's
we'll
right.
see if they have anything to say about what kind of protocol and etiquette they expect on a restart. All right, 2 more corners. The Mustang should be diving to its right. Hudek's
Right,
going
and
to back the
they
field
have
up.
been told to maintain 45 miles per hour when they come onto the front straight, Larry.
Okay. Is this a live steward going back to
Yes.
green then? Okay.
I think that is the case. And stewards are looking over the field. And there we go, green flag. And there we go, immediately. We've got
Look at
David Payton jumping to the inside on Dan Carrito. Got a great run there. And unfortunately for Casey Knight, he did not get a huge run off the corner. And David Payton took a quick look to the inside on Knight, not quite far enough alongside. And as he came down the inside, Larry might have given the position back. And he has. Dan Carrito from WBM Racing as our Toyotas now get the green flag. And over on the inside line, it is Martineau with Lucas Dragota tucked in right behind as Travis Schwenke tries to make a run along the outside. And after after pushing Martineau down into 1, Dragota gets back in line.
This will be interesting because we had seen them get into a rhythm with Dragota pushing Martineau along, and the two of them were in a bit of a nice little game they were playing the rest of the field. I don't know if that's going to hold up now with everybody right behind them. They're trying to stay in nice nose-to-tail line again. They're making that work. Meanwhile, I see Schwenke wants to get a piece of this. He's going to take that 3rd spot, while Hartley's trying to get alongside Rutledge to take the 4th. No luck right there.
No, not at all. Just not quite far enough. Couldn't go deep into the bus stop. Andrew Sharp takes a quick look on Hartley as they come out of the bus stop. Mike Dam now getting around Josh Vidal from HSR Phantom Racing as they came out of the bus stop. He now moves up into 8th position as we sit and watch the rear of his Dam's teammate, Robert Hartley.
There's a lot of action, I think, going on behind them. I'm seeing some side-by-sides through 10 and through 11. One of those is Mike Dam. Of course, he was involved in the opening lap melee. He's worked his way back up to 9th, and he might have a chance here to look inside of Josh Vidal. Not quite, but he's trying to make that move, I think, there for the 8th spot.
Yeah, he for a moment coming out of 10, Larry, he had gotten right alongside Ruby Nekamata from the Samantha Tan Racing esports team. Nekamata was able to carry the outside onto the front straight, and Josh Vidal took advantage. Mike Dam drops to the back of this 3-car pack here, but now takes a look to the inside.
Yeah, this is your leaders. That's Travis Schwenke trying to make a move to the front of the field. He's going to get alongside Dragota through the bus stop, and Dragota is saying, no way, I'm staying right behind Martineau. The two of us are snuggled right now, and that seemed to work for them. Travis, no way to squeeze in. There's no room at the end.
Right, no room at the end. Sorry, my Great Dane is sharing the bed with me right now. All right, as and Larry is as Schwenke did try to sweep around the outside of the bus stop. Joey Rutledge had a great line coming out in the wrong stuff machine there, but was not able to pull alongside. And now as they come out of the final corner, Travis Schwenke shoots to the inside. Dragota goes to cover, and Schwenke with a run. He's got position on the second place car if he can take it.
Rutledge. It's the issue now. Rutledge is going to take the opportunity to go to the outside and try and get around Schwenke for third, and he just did. And now Rutledge we'll see if he gets any drafts, because we know that Dragota and Martineau are going to stay lying astern to the front. And now you got the two Orions behind Rutledge, Schwenke and Hartley. Rutledge, though, gets the good run. He's going to close up, but you're going to have Martineau, Dragota, Rutledge, and then the two Orions, Schwenke and Hartley, 4th and 5th.
Well, and now Lucas Dragota starting to take some looks on Martineau on the inside as they came out of the S's, and continues to turn in a little bit later, trying to shoot in underneath. All right, let's jump back over to our slightly smaller TCR field now, as this is the battle between Bobby Childs and Dale Maxwell. Bobby in the white Civic, Maxwell in the black. Other guys, Hyundai, pardon me, not Honda. And he is in the Velociter, not in the Elantra.
Yeah, these two teammates, though, Pasternak and Hogg, working well together, try and hold off Panhiraday there behind them. I think they're going to make it through that bus stop and do exactly that. That's a good little battle there going on for 8th.
And again, those two racers started from the pit lane. As we jump to the other end of the TCR field, as Hudek now from SRT Esports has opened up about 3 car lengths, maybe 2.5 car lengths.
There's traffic, though.
Hyundai driver Casey Knight. Yeah, they're coming up on some more Toyota traffic here.
That's Aaron Sunday.
He's
back.
Yeah.
Aaron Sunday has rejoined, and now he's got the lead TCRs in his mirror. Aaron's going to just stay out of the way, I'm sure. He's going to stay left and let the TCRs go right.
You say that now, Larry. and remember, there's about a 5-second delay, so
I thought we were on a
Rachel
7-second delay
for us.
Yeah, I thought the FCC requires 7 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, the front 3 does make it through. The next 2, which would be Peyton and West, are there behind, but this front 3 now with 5 minutes to go are pretty tightly packed together. Hudak, since the that opening where things got kind of spread out a little bit, Hudak seems to have taken control of this. Right there before the yellow, he took the lead. Casey Knight still holding into that second spot, but he's going to probably need some traffic. He's going to need something to force Hudak offline in these next couple laps.
All right, let's jump back, Larry, over to the battle for the lead in the GR class with Martineau and Dragota. They've brought along Joey Rutledge now, who is, as we saw on the last lap, up in the third. Rutledge takes a quick look to the outside of our leader, Martineau, and in doing so, that might have given a bit of an advantage, and maybe not, to Dragota.
I love it, though. The idea Rutledge said, I'm going to mix this up, even if it means pushing Dragota past Martineau, and he does. Now, it helps Dragota, but it changes the dynamic. These two had been nose to tail with Martineau ahead of Dragota. Now they got to switch up spots. The problem is Rutledge couldn't make it really work. No. He's got to work his way back up there. He could have possibly followed Dragota, but he backed out of it pretty hard. Now let's see if the rest of the pack, Rutledge, Schwenke, and now Nekamata are the next ones in line. Can they catch back up to a Dragota in front of Martineau?
Yeah, and Nekamoto, Larry, the last time we saw him, he was in 8th position. He's gotten around Josh Vidal and Andrew Sharp.
Yeah, look at, though, Martineau doing the same thing to Dragota that was happening before in reverse. Martineau pushing Dragota along, bump drafting, not going to go wide, because they know as soon as they go side by side, it's going to be Joey Rutledge right up in their business, and that's not what Cameron wants. He would rather finish second than to give Rutledge that opportunity. 3 more minutes. Look at little
Dragotta
bump
protecting the
drafting.
inside as they come up to the bus stop. Now moves over driver's left to set up. A little bit of understeer from Cameron Martineau going into the bus stop, Larry, and I don't know if this is going to hold, but for the moment, Lucas Dragotta, pardon me, has lost his drafting partner as we jump back to the battle for the lead in TCR, and Knight has caught right back up to Stephen Hudek as they are coming up on some slower Toyota traffic.
That's Russ Ruddock. Remember, he was at the trigger point of that incident in the first race that led to the yellow. I'm sure Russ is trying to stay out of the way of the leaders here in TCR. Carrito's faded back. They were down to a two-man race here with Stephen Hudek, Casey Knight at the front of this TCR field. And there's 2 minutes left on the clock. I suspect 2 laps. They will
probably
get white flag next time by. So second to last lap here, but look at that traffic. 2 TCRs coming up on 3 GRs. Hudek on the headlight flash. Doesn't help. You can keep trying. That field is there. They're going to fight for themselves.
Yeah, and Larry, I was just, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to clear those 3 cars before they get into the 90.
And they're trying.
Oh, my.
What a move for Hudek.
That's right. And Casey Knight gets caught out as he gets stuck behind. I think that was the 907 of Chris Hampton from Lead Paul Racing. His own teammate, Larry, balked him coming out of turn 2 and up through the S's.
Oh, that is the worst. Teammates got to communicate even through the field like that. Let's watch this replay. As Martineau, remember, was pushing Lucas Dragotta along. Now watch this replay as Martineau goes to the outside. He's going to get the push. Again, it's Joey Rutledge doing the pushing, just like he helped. He's just helping Dragotta 2 laps ago. And again, Rutledge can't get through.
And he almost did, Larry. Matter of fact, he had the nose up on Dragotta. There was a little bit of a touch there, and it looked like, once again, Rutledge just got out of the throttle and just did not have the momentum going into the bus stop.
He's going to get 2 more chances because white flag is out. Barney's waving the white one. Hudek now with a 2-second lead over Knight. Knight now back into the clutches of Dan Carrito potentially for the 2nd spot. But let's go to this GR race as it is heating up. Can Rutledge, 2 more chances down this back straight. Can he mix it up again? And look at this. Dragotta, forget pushing Martineau. He's going to go side by side. I smell a 3 wide on this last couple laps. Is this it? Is this my 3 wide?
Well, Martineau's protecting the inside until now he moves in. But again, Larry,
look at this.
Rutledge just so much harder on the brakes. But Martineau has issues with the bus stop. Rutledge drives right on by him on the exit. And now Martineau trying to hold off the damage as Travis Schwenke is trying to attack with just 2 corners remaining.
That time it worked for Rutledge. He was able to do the pushing, and he backed off to get the run while the front 2 went side by side and went slow. That cost Cameron Martineau, who's recovered well, but that cost the position. Martineau now is going to get aggressive everywhere. That's the move, I think, in this situation. Wherever you can get by, you take it no matter what happens, because this is just the last lap, white flag in the air. And that's the checker waving for the TCR behind him.
Leaders right behind, and there you go, taking the win in TCR is going to be Stephen Hudek from SRT with Casey Knight finishing 2nd, and then Dan Carrito 3rd. But back over to this GR battle here with Lucas Dragotta, your leader, and Rutledge. And now let's see what Rutledge does, Larry, because again, Rutledge has been much heavier on the brakes going into the bus stop, regardless of the position.
He's been heavy the brakes. He wants a good exit, but watch him. He got a great run, the best run of all of them through the first turn. The problem is he couldn't do anything with it. Now look on the outside. That's Martineau coming back. He's on the outside of Rutledge through the bus stop, and Rutledge is going to lose out as Dragotta goes through. Dragotta's got about 3 more corners to get this first round win. But behind them, it's going to be 4 wide going into turn 10. Martineau, Rutledge, Schwenke, Hartley, Nakamata are all going to be in this thing. But I think Dragotta might be free and clear. But look at the group now behind the 2. There goes Rutledge to the inside of Martineau. There he goes.
And Larry, Rutledge is going to get caught to the outside as they come to the final corner because he can't pitch Martineau to the inside. And as they come out of turn 11 onto the front straight, taking the first win of the night in the GR class. Lucas Dragotta with Cameron Martineau finishing second. Joey Rutledge will come home in third, and then it is the Orion pair of Schwenke and Hartley rounding out the top 5. Now remember, as we set up for our second race of the night, the top 10 all the way back to Doug Klimovich will invert, and so Klimovich should be your pole sitter for race number 2. All right, let's take a quick break, Larry. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. We're going to give these drivers, I think, a little bit of a warm-up session, and then it will be race number 2 here at Watkins Glen International, where you are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup season number 26. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen International and the season 26 opener of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, let's see if we can take a look at our finishing order from race number 1. And there we go. Taking the win in the TCR class. The initial win of the season for SRT Esport, it was Stephen Hudek. And finishing second, Casey Knight from Lead Paul Racing. Dan Carrizo finished in third. And David Payton and Chase West finishing just off the podium, 4th and 5th for D2D Sim Racing. And the wrong stuff. Over in the Toyotas, Lucas Dragotta from Thomas and Sim Racing taking the win with Cameron Martineau finishing second, Joey Rutledge in third, Travis Schwenke and Robert Hartley finishing just off the podium, 4th and 5th. And so, Larry, as we look at that order, and let's keep that up on the screen for just a moment, because what we are doing for race number 2 in the TCR classes, we're going to invert, we believe, the top 6, which should put Noah Hogg, who started the first race from the pit lane, on the pole for Velocity Motorsports, with then Chase West and David Payton, Dan Carrizo, Casey Knight, and Stephen Hudek. And the drivers, unfortunately, that are just past that cutoff, Bobby Childs will still start 7th, Panhirde 8th, and then Dale Maxwell and Jasper Pasternak will round out that field. And over in the Toyota GR class, Larry, It is the top 10 racers that we invert. And so there we go. We pull, there's the 10th. Thank you very much, John. Drake Miller should be your pole sitter with, well, actually, let me see. Did I get that right?
Is it Doug?
No, yeah, actually, I think you're right. Doug Klimovich. If only he was in a BMW. Doug Klimovich should be your pole sitter with Drake Miller on the outside of the front row. Josh Vidal and Rudy Nekamata, then Sharp and Hartley, Schwenke, Rutledge, and then right at the back of the top 10 will be Martineau and Dragota. And then there are another, I think, 11 drivers back behind there, Larry, in those Toyotas.
Well, I'm looking forward to this because in those Toyotas, we saw sometimes it was difficult to pass, but that was the front of the field doing what they do, bump drafting, being very careful, being calculated until those last couple laps. But now you put that group in rows 4 and 5, as well as some folks behind them that are going to be pretty quick. So we get to the grid for those. We'll talk about them, but let's get to the grid for those TCRs for race 2.
And before we put the grid up on the screen there, we're going to have the little Congo line here, Larry. As they do the well, I guess it wouldn't be the Mexican hat dance if they're up in the up in upstate New York, but our drivers are now going to have to put themselves into the correct order for the split, if only because iRacing, unfortunately, when we have multi-class racing, can't do it for you. So they're going to be moving around here.
We know the order of what it's going to be. You kind of went through it. I'll run through TCRs one more time. Your pole sitter for race 2, Noah Hogg, lined up with Chase West. Row 2 will be David Payton and Dan Corrido. Row 3, Casey Knight, as well as your winner of round 1, Stephen Hudek. Behind them, Bobby Childs, Pan Hiraday. Then Dale Maxwell and Jasper Pasternak. And Chris Thorman and Aaron Beaver winding out your TCR crowd. And then we get to the GR86s. We talked about your pole sitter being Doug Klimovich. Alongside him should be Drake Miller.
Yep. And then I believe Nekamata and
Vidal.
Then Sharp and Hartley. Then Schwenke and Martineau, and then Schwenke and Rutledge, and then Martineau and Dragota. And from there we drop back to Logan Jones. Drop back to Chris Hampton and Robert Schwenkler. Ricky Tharp and Chris Graves, Mike Dam and Joel Singleton, John Casey and Russ Ruddick from Frito Sport and Flying Tortoise, then Josh Chinsky and Aaron Sunday.
So what I'm looking forward to is you mentioned some big names not in those front 5 rows because they had some rough times there in the opening round. You've got outside of that top 10 starting Robert Schwenkler, who's going to be 2 rows behind where you're going to have your round 1 winner, Lucas Dragota, Cameron Martin. No, 2 rows back from him is going to be Robert Schwenkler. Behind them, another row or so, you got Mike Dam, Joel Singleton, Josh Chinsky, all of them kind of working their way through that field. Let's keep an eye on those names. So Chinsky, Dam, probably Singleton. I know Schwenkler is going to be moving quickly through that field. Look at those guys to be trying to keep up with Dragota and Martineau. We know Dragota and Martineau are starting in row 5. Not far behind them, some big names.
All right, so we are with a little bit of a pause here as the Toyota racers now getting into the correct order. As they are being called out one by one. Better that they get called out by race control than by you and I, Larry.
It's probably better that way. Although I watched enough basketball, sorry, Jeff, but at the bottom 4, it's always like Jim Nantz who gets to introduce the players on the court in the stadium, and then he goes back to doing his play-by-play with Grant Hill or whoever his color commentator is. But yeah, it's always the play-by-play guy that gets to do it in the stadium. How come we don't get to inside of
Larry? I have been your biggest fan for all of these years. I've tried my best, and yet Jeff Jacobs and Bobby Childs and all the folks from Extreme Motorsports, they just tell me week after week, no, you cannot do that. We don't trust Larry.
That's true. I mean, their judgment is wise.
That is true.
All right, I think we're just about there with the arranging of the grids, as it looks like the field has made their way through turn one, and then we'll get things rolling again with Noah Hogg and Chase West leading the way in those brand new Audis.
Yeah.
On that front row.
And meanwhile, Noah Hogg, did you see him light up the rear tires in that car to get going?
Huh. Who knew?
Who knew? Sorry.
For those at home, the joke is they're front-wheel drive.
They're front-wheel drive. No quattro,
right.
my friends. No quattro.
I'm looking forward to this because I think, especially at this track, we get to other places, and I think traffic management's a bit easier, making your way through the fields a little bit. This place is really tough. This is very much like a NASCAR race. You got to work. There'll be a little bit of bumping. There's going to be, you got to sometimes be aggressive to make the move at the right time. And I think this could be interesting to see. I'd be very, very surprised to see Cameron Martineau and Lucas Dragota and Joey Rutledge make their way up to a podium here in the second race in those GR86s. I think we're going to see a new winner in this round. And I think even in the TCRs, it's going to be tough for Stephen Hudek to do the same there, but could be wrong.
All right, Larry. Well, the pace car, well, he got sick of waiting. He pulled into the pit lane a long time ago as we now turn the field over. And this is going to be interesting, Larry, because this is only going to be, I think, about a 25-minute race due to the amount of time it took to do that little hat dance as Noah Hogg leads the field onto the front straight. Green flag now in the air again. You can't move out of your lane until the start-finish line, and that really caught out the second and third rows as they were ready to go. You could see him flinch, then thought better of it as they head down into the 90 into turn one. Hogg gets a whole bunch of curbing, and Chase West goes wide along the outside as Casey Knight, Chase West stay along there, and probably David Payton.
Oh no, Carino.
Oh no. And that's
Big
Carino
one.
off the wall in his Civic. He picks up another driver, Bobby Childs. Oh no.
Stubby's not going to be happy.
Favorite Bobby Childs off into the wall as the Toyotas now get the green flag, and it is Nakamura and Josh Vidal around the outside. Nakamura in the 39 machine, currently your leader. As they now head up through the S's as Hartley slots in behind Nakamura, and then door-to-door, side-by-side, Josh Vidal and Joey Rutledge. Rutledge, as he already makes up a number of positions as he is coming down the outside. He's got Nakamura and Hartley right there along with him as they head into the bus stop for the first time. It is Robert Hartley, your leader from the outside, takes the position away from Nakamura, Josh Vidal, Joey Rutledge, Andrew Sharp. They're in the same positions, and Cameron Martineau trying to stop the bleeding. He lost 2 more positions on the start.
Well, a couple things. One is, good thing is the clock only starts when the first cars take green at the start finish. So it will be a 30-minute race. Let's get this replay of Bobby Childs getting, unfortunately, taken out here as Dan Carrito hit issues, and Carrito ends up in the track. Bobby is out. Was that Bobby's teammate as well?
I think that was, yeah, I believe that was David Payton, Larry, in the 64 machine, who also got caught up in this.
You can see that's Peyton there that gets hit, and then that's Bobby, the second one, as Carrito taking out a couple of them there. But let's go back and see how Aaron Beaver might have been the other one involved here. Is this Peyton, Childs, and Beaver? All 3 get taken out of the opening lap. D2D is done done. My goodness.
Done, yes.
All right, well, let's get back up to the GRs right now as Nakamura has got the lead. Hartley actually should be in the lead, and then Nakamura. But this battle behind, this is Martineau, Rutledge, Travis Schwenke, and they're all going side by side as Hartley out in the front. The one thing about Hartley, we know he's traditionally been an MX-5 specialist.
Yes.
He's got an I rating of like 9,000 something. A lot of that is in some of that MX-5 Cup racing. These GRs aren't that different.
No,
get him at the front of a pack. Yeah, draft racing, he's a guy that could stay there a while. Let's keep our eyes on Nakamura, see what kind of run he can get. Can these two break away from Vidal, Rutledge, and Martineau behind them?
And early on, Larry, they've been much more successful in doing so than in race number 1
Yeah.
But Vidal and we know that Rutledge is pretty comfortable just pushing if he can. We'll see if they're able to make up the ground here as we go on board. Stephen Hudek now trying to hold off Chase West and his nemesis Casey Knight here in the battle for second, as Noah Hogg has now opened up a little bit over a second on the rest of the field. And who is that off on the
John
side?
Casey.
Yeah, John Casey in the 78 Toyota there at the what would normally be the exit of turn 9.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough one for him there as we look at this group. Now, again, the front two, which would be Hartley and Nakamata, seem to be pulling away. Vidal, Martineau, Rutledge going to be the wild card on the outside right there, trying to go by all of them into the bus. So all this does is slow them down and give a better chance for Hartley and Nakamata to move further away up the road. But we'll see if Rutledge and his aggression eventually pays off. We've still got 26 long minutes around this place, but I love watching the energy. Right now, Joey Rutledge is my favorite. I love just stirring the pot, trying something, not boring racing for sure.
All right, Lucas Dragotta and Travis Schwenke appear to be hooking up as they try to push back up towards Joey Rutledge as they now complete lap number 3.
So we're on board with your round 1 winner. Lucas Dragotta right behind Travis Schwenke, and they're just kind of playing it quiet here early in this one. I tell you, Stephen Hudek is on a mission. He's right up under the tail of Noah Hogg already. It's Chase West in the pits.
Yeah, West brings the 757 car down to the pit lane, and I'm wondering...
There's no penalties that I can see.
No.
So I'm not sure what's going on there. There's some reviews happening, but there has been no penalties assessed yet. But look at this, though. Noah Hogg had that lead early.
Hudek just absolutely decimated the advantage that Hogg had all by himself without a draft, just drove right on up to him.
Well, we know that these cars wear front tires pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Right now, Hudek using all of his front tires to catch the back of Hogg. We'll see what those tires look like in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Larry, the last lap, Hudek was almost 0.6 of a second faster than Noah Hogg ahead.
There you go. And he was 0.9 2 laps earlier. So there it is. Hudek just screaming around here. There's no one in sight behind them. You got Casey Knight, and then it's a couple more seconds back to Maxwell. So it's just a Hudek show here trying to catch Hogg, and I don't think it'll be long before he does it.
Yeah, but, you know, Larry, in that first race, as our TCR leaders came up on the Toyotas on 2 separate occasions, really played a big part in the battle for the lead there. And you saw where Hudek and Hogg were starting to come up on some of the back markers in the GR class.
We're going side by side, and this time it looks like Rutledge is getting the push along from Schwenke as they go side by side through there, and that's on the inside. I want to say it's Vidal getting bounced around just a little bit.
Yeah, that's the white and red 86 of Josh Vidal.
It's getting pretty dicey as those front two are just off playing nice. Now, Martineau is interesting because Martineau and Nakamata are teammates. I'm sure Martineau would love to catch his teammate for that, but let's check this pass here in the TCRs.
All right, as it come down into turn 1 and turning in a little bit later is Noah Hogg. And look at this, he just drives right past, probably Stephen Hudek drives right past Noah Hogg coming out of 1.
Gets a good run there. Logan Jones in that GR just stays out of the way. So Stephen Hudek to the top spot in the TCRs. But meanwhile, this is getting dicey. Watching Schwenke here, he's getting the push already coming up through the S's. I think it's Dragotta. Yeah, pushing him, trying to get by Vidal here before they even get to the back straight. And now Dragotta says, fine, I'll push Vidal down the inside line.
I'll take Vidal instead.
And then you got that other wrong stuff entry thrown right in. That's Robert Schwenkler, who had the internet who it just didn't work for him to start the first race. He ended up a lap or two down, but he's right in the mix here. Schwenkler, I think, in 8th in this pack. There he is in that wrong stuff, right behind Lucas Dragota, your round 1 winner.
As Hartley continues to lead with the teammates of Nakamata and Martineau locked nose to tail, trying to push their way back up. But at the moment, it is a 3-car breakaway as Joey Rutledge, who was such a change agent in race number 1, now finds himself leading the second pack as they come down into turn 1 to start lap number 7.
Oh, near contact there between Rutledge and Schwenke as they go through 1. But going back to that, the front 3 now, of course, is you've got Hartley with Nakamata and Martineau, the 2 teammates behind Hartley. Starting to wonder, I didn't see Nakamata pushing Hartley along. They're all pushing now, and I'm starting to wonder if Nakamata wanted Martineau to get up there to now start pushing and breaking away from the Rutledge Vidal Dragota behind.
Well, I think even on the previous lap, Larry, they just were not quite close enough to even get that little shove. And you can see here, even coming out of the bus stop, where Hartley, and again, I think this is some of that MX-5 experience, he's able to carry a good amount more speed through the bus stop consistently.
Now they've got race leader Stephen Hudak there. You can see in the background, Hudak in the Hyundai TCR is going to be coming through this pack. There he is, heading up towards turn 10. He's going to go by all 3 of these front ones, probably on the front straight here in 2 more corners. And he's just putting daylight between himself and Noah Hogg. Now 2 seconds between Stephen Hudak and the next closest competitor in TCR.
And Larry, and I think Hogg encountered that second pack of the Toyotas just as he was getting to turn 10. He was flashing the lights furiously, but now Stephen Hudak has opened up over 2 seconds. There you go. You can see Hogg still flashing the lights, just gets around Rutledge and Vidal and Schwenkler going into 1.
Yeah, we're on board here with Casey Knight in the another one of the Hyundais. Let's see if he can close in on Hogg for second place. If Knight can keep the foot down, it's going to be sketchy. The closing speeds there on Vidal. Knight goes by that one. He's got to go by at least another before he gets caught behind the next group going into the bus stop. And that next group is the front 3. Hartley, Nakamata, Martineau.
And so he's going to run wide, probably try to cut underneath them as they come through the 90. Actually, he's just going to sweep around the outside rather than load up that left front tire. And he does finally get by them on the run, able to carry a lot more speed through the outer loop and into turn 9.
Still finds himself 2 seconds back, though, from second place Noah Hogg. So not able to use any of that traffic to his advantage to close in. So right now it's Hudak, Hogg, and Knight each a couple seconds apart. Meanwhile, there's an Aaron Sunday spotting. He's done quite well. He's in 13th spot here in this field. He's got right behind him Drake Miller, one of our newcomers here to the series. But good to see Aaron, internet working, and Rachel, someone to cheer for.
All right, Larry, we've got a change for the lead now in the Toyotas coming out of turn 1 as Ruby Nakamata takes the lead from Robert Hartley, and Martineau, the teammate, gets by as well as they were in a drag race going down into turn number 1.
Yeah,
let's see what Martineau does to get around Hartley as well.
It's just good runs here, and I'm really surprised Hartley leaving those doors open at this stage. And that's all that's really done is this jostling for the front position has let everyone backed in. But speaking of backed in, that's Lucas Dragota backing into the wall, coming out of the bus stop. That's not good for your round 1 winner.
Let's see how it happened, Larry. He's caught right in the middle, gets together, gets a little shove there. And that is from, was that Joey Rutledge that he got together? Or was that a little bit further back?
Let's watch one more replay as he's alongside Rutledge.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? I got to say, Lucas probably didn't give enough room. He knew he was on the outside. He cut in hard at that first left kink apex. In my opinion, the stewards will look at it, but I think that might be on Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, look, it's the short course, Larry, but, Rutledge was all the way over the apex curbing, driver's left. Wasn't really anywhere else that he could have gone while while Dragota did have a lot of the black stuff there to his right that he could have adjusted and used. As we jump back here and look at Dragota now trying to make a recovery, and there's Aaron Sunday.
Yep.
Starting to chase the 119 down. He's pulling Drake Miller along with him, and that 119 machine, Larry, might have picked up a little bit of damage as it smacked the wall.
Yeah, and usually the damage hurts you in a straight line, so Aaron Sunday may have an opportunity. That's Mike Dam. Is that Rutledge with him? Or is that Robert Schwenkler?
That is Schwenkler. That is
no.
Robert Schwenkler and Mike Dam
That's
off.
Coming out of the bus stop?
Yeah.
Oh, let's watch this replay again. Same spot as we just saw Lucas Dragota having his issues. And this time, it's Schwenkler just losing it, and Mike Dam nowhere to go. I tell you, that is a treacherous corner in the real world as much as it is in the sim. And for Schwenkler and Dam both, it's been a rough night.
Yeah, so Dam now heads to the pits, and I think Schwenkler may have continued.
Meanwhile,
no, I think he's done.
Battle
All
for
right, let's jump
second
back
is
over to
heating up.
Yeah, here we go. Noah Hogg and Casey Knight as
is that a
Steven
course cut?
Hudek is checked out.
Was that a course cut for Hogg? So close on that final apex at the bus stop. Let's see if he has to give up a position here in the next couple of corners. If not, he got real lucky.
Very lucky, exactly. I don't, looking at the timing and scoring, Larry, I don't think he did.
Hard to say because they give you like a 30-second warning, and you don't get a black flag until you don't serve that time give up within that 30 seconds or whatever it tells you. He's not slowing down yet, so he may have survived. But tell you, that was really close because if you cut the course too hard, a place like that, it typically gives you like a 1 second slowdown. So far for Noah, maybe he's in the clear.
And I'd like to thank our poet laureate here at Apex Racing TV, Larry. His name is ChatGPT. Thank you, Rachel. and the person to track down or stalk, or his name is Sam Fitzpatrick. The problem is he's on the other side of the ocean. You might have to take a.
Oh, that's contact.
Contact between Casey Knight and Noah Hogg. Knight in the green and gold machine. Hogg just sliding right up underneath Knight, and Knight goes to recover as they come out of the outer loop, out of turn 9 to make the run down to 10. They are still even, but Hogg has the position and he gets back around Casey Knight.
Knight there trying to just take him off the board like he's going after a rook, and it didn't really work. The two of them side by side through that bus stop. I can't believe they both survived. Front wheel drive for the win. You just smash the gas and steer. Seemed to work there. Knight had that car about 30 degrees sideways when he finally got the thing straightened out.
And Larry, what's this rook thing? I mean, we're all motor, auto racers, so we like to do checkers in general. Connect 4.
All right.
Tic-tac-toe.
Casey again with the run on the back straight. Again, we're going to do this. That's like third lap in a row. His Knight's on the inside. Nope, he's going to stay in line.
Well, he might not.
Not really sure if he's going to be able to make the pass. Maybe he's going to try it on the back straight this time. Gets a good run. Good apex there. Can the Hyundai go past the Audi?
Knight's going to take a look to the inside as they come into turn 10. Not alongside.
That's close. Hogg leaving the door open just a little bit. And this time Knight going around the outside at 11. Down the front straight. Here we go. We're only halfway through this second round tonight.
To the helicopter we go, Larry. Let's take a look as they come down into the 90, door to door. Knight keeps it just off the wall. Drivers left as they come up through the S's. Again, door to door. What a battle here between these two racers.
Oh, no!
Contact.
Oh, they got to straighten it out. Keep this thing going. They've got a buffer. You got Chris Orman coming up behind him. He's going to approach quickly, but I think Knight and Hog each able to recover. That's the D2D of Chris Thorman, but its tires are sliding for Casey Knight. I think I just heard him in the chat saying that he might be done. There may be some damage to his car. We'll see. That was a pretty good heavy contact between Knight and Hog.
Yeah, and Hog got a lot of the wall there, Larry. I'm honestly, I'm amazed that these two racers are still watching. I think we're going to need to see Thorman's relative pace to those two drivers as we jump back to the battle for the lead in the GR86 class with Nekomata and Martineau, the two Samantha Tan Racing teammates. Then with Robert Hartley, our former leader, in third, Joey Rutledge, hanging it out there in fourth, as Rutledge has made up a number of positions to start this second race off after he had a podium finish early on.
This is getting intense right now. And again, what Rutledge did in that first race, in mixing it up and not letting the folks out in front stay nose to tail and push each other along and be boring. Rutledge may be trying to do that again here as he's caught this front three. The two in the front are leaders. Don't be surprised if you see Joey Rutledge pushing Robert Hartley.
But
You've
first
seen
he's
that
going to
line
have to
enough.
get up there, Larry. He's been, and Hartley now takes a look to the inside, coming through the S's. He's going to try to sweep around the outside, and if Rutledge can get up to him, they might have a chance here.
What I was waiting for was Rutledge to push Hartley. If nothing else, get Hartley in the side-by-side with these teammates. And now all four of them, 2 by 2, and Rutledge able to take a position, as does Hartley for the lead.
And Larry, we still have 10 minutes of this remaining. Oh my. By the way, Larry, when you have a chance, go check your LinkedIn page.
Thanks. Checking now. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if they watch this replay here. So what you've got is Rutledge, Hartley on the left. I usually like to be down the inside, which is where the teammates Nekomata and Martineau are. Hartley, though, gets just enough a push to be nose ahead of Nekomata. But look at the run here that Rutledge takes. Finally, some aggressive line, goes down the inside of Martineau. But it's Hartley taking the point position now away from Nekomata. 10 minutes to go. Oh, no, and Noah Hogg is in the pits.
Oh, no. Let's see what happened. Well, we know what happened, Larry, but as he and Casey Knight came together. Meanwhile, Casey Knight, who was talking about how he thought he was done.
This is the prior incident. We saw this craziness already.
Yeah, and you know, again, Knight managed to keep his car off the wall. It was Hogg that grabbed a bunch of the blue bushes on the way up towards the bus stop, and that's just too much for his car to handle now as Knight is trying to make his way through some of that Toyota traffic.
Look at this. Rutledge now in his second spot has gotten his way around Nekomata. So now the two teammates, Nekomata and Martineau, back to third and fourth. There's a Josh Vidal in this mix somewhere. There he is. He's right there at the tail of this. So now it's a 5-car train with 8 minutes to go. Yeah, well, the front going side by side to the bus stop doesn't take long.
I guess so. That would do it.
And they're doing it up front as well as Rutledge takes the point. He's going to lead a lap right here as they cross to start lap number 16 of their race. Meanwhile, the TCRs are working 17, and they should be catching these guys in the next lap or two.
All right, and as Nekomata got a nice little push from Martineau down the front straight, Hartley sticking the car to the inside. He now gives up a position to Nekomata, so drop him back to third with Martineau fourth and Josh Vidal there in fifth. Another 5 seconds back to Travis Schwenke and the rest of the Toyota field.
This might be for damage.
Yeah, as Casey Knight now heads to the pit lane. Looks like his night is now done. That's going to move Chris Thorman now up in the second in the TCRs for D2D Sim Racing, with Dale Maxwell slotting into third in his Hyundai.
Yeah, Casey Knight actually was pitting for a black flag assigned for incident responsibility with the contact with Noah Hogg that we had seen. So now Hogg and Knight both out, as you say. Thorman now up to second. And I think we've got then Dale Maxwell clocking into third spot right now with 7 minutes to go in this second round. Look at this, though. At the front, it's Nakamata has taken over the top spot over Hartley, Rutledge, Martineau, Vidal. Travis Schwenke's only 5 seconds back, and the way these front guys are going, who knows? If Schwenke gets Sharp and Singleton to give him a push, that he could be there in the next 3 laps.
Waiting to see him cross the stripe and see what kind of times. Yeah, he's lapping about a half second faster than the cars ahead.
Mike Brooks in the chat. I'm sure he's cheering on his Wrong Stuff teammates here as Rutledge is putting on a show. There's the push. Rutledge again pushing in the back of Hartley, making sure Hartley's in the lead. Ooh. But look at this, Nakamata aggressively returning the favor to the inside.
And Larry, that time around, I think Hartley almost got too much of a push. I'm a little surprised he was able to hang on to it at the end.
Gave him the old, hey, bub, I got to hit the brakes here somewhere, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at Josh Vidal. He's been patient in this. He was able to catch this pack. He has not seen the elbows out that's been going on. But look at this replay now as we go on board.
Yeah, watch the push that and how long. There we go. As he finally lets back just a little bit, but
it's perfect.
Opens up like 4 car lengths just going into the bus stop. And now as they come onto the front straight, Hartley, now your leader.
Yep, and your overall leader, Hudak, is right at the tail of this group.
Right at the back of it.
I'm sure he's going to proceed with caution.
Yeah, although, and Hudak at this point has 15 seconds on the rest of the TCR field.
I wouldn't do this. Hudak, way more daring than I would be.
Hudak, they're going to beat them Saints. All right.
I'm sure the whole time he's going, sorry.
With a 15-second advantage. Larry, remember that.
Yeah, so he makes it through. He's good. The battle behind continues. Hartley,
maybe Mike Dam was apologizing for him too.
Exactly. And then Martineau and Nakamata, third, fourth. Vidal still in that fifth. Vidal's got to move up a spot here. I think he's got to take an advantage now of Nakamata being pushed to the back. Let's see if he can get a run. Can't here though. Oh, and Vidal in the grass in the background there. That's going to hurt his chances. Martineau going to take the line to the inside of Rutledge. This is only going to help Robert Hartley.
Yeah, so Hartley continues to open up that advantage as Martineau slides across the nose of Rutledge with Nakamata behind. Josh Vidal, though, starting to fall off the pace.
Greg, I got to say, John Grabowski's camera work is fantastic tonight.
All I can say is more helicopter shots.
This group here, get a little look here at Singleton, Sharp. They faded back a little bit from Travis Schwenke, just up there in front of them. And then that's Chris Dorman, second place TCR, working his way through. He's going to split them.
Almost.
Chris. Good little pairing for them. Back to the front, though. This time, Martineau is past Rutledge. They don't have to go side by side in turn one this time through. Maybe Nakamata will give it a shot. Or they all going to try and chase
takes a quick
down.
look to the inside. They're going in the one to hold off Nakamata.
2 minutes, probably 2 laps remaining for this battle. We know the first round, it was Lucas Dragotta, and he's long back from any of this. He's back in 9th.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Larry, when he had that bounce off the wall, probably impacted his straight line speed, which is so critical here.
Yeah.
at the Glen.
But watching this group, Martineau, Rutledge, Hartley, Nakamata, side by side at the front. Look at that. No touch.
Oh, and that was an aggressive move there as Hartley holds off Nakamata. It's interesting, Larry, as I watch whoever ends up going driver's left into the bus stop, is the left front tire is almost always dropping into the grass fully over the curbing, you know, and I guess, and I thought typically on the, when we're not running the short course, that that would bring out a course cut penalty, but we're on board now with Stephen Hudek with now only about a minute and 10 seconds remaining on the clock. I think white flag is in the air. Or next time by.
No white flag.
Yeah, next time by. No white flag.
All right. Hopefully everyone's got enough fuel on board. Chris Thorman trying to just doing the same thing that Stephen Hudek did a few laps ago. Get on past this group. But look at this now. It's going to be Martineau alongside Robert Hartley. And Rutledge is going to have to pick a partner to push. Who does he choose? He's going to go to the inside.
Pick Hartley.
He does. I would have gone to the outside of Martineau just to keep Nakamata from being able to work with his teammate. But look at the teammates lined up, and Vidal's is going to figure out, who do I follow?
Well, he chooses nobody. He just drops back, tries to get a run, and might get the run now on Joey Rutledge as they go around the outer loop.
Yeah, I think Rutledge made a mistake there. Personally, I think you got to pick and split the teammates. He should have been pushing Martineau there instead of Hartley. But there is going to be, we believe, one more lap to go. These should be seeing white flag 2 more corners away. It's going to be tough to win this thing if you're in 5th for Vidal or 4th even for Rutledge. But you got one more chance. Do you make a pass on the front straight? Hope you don't lose the leader. If you're Rutledge, you almost have to.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to if you're Joey Rutledge here as they come onto the front straight. And now final lap for the Toyotas as they come down into turn number 1. Martineau, your new leader. Hartley, Nakamata, Rutledge, your top 4 with Josh Vidal right there as well in the red and white number 89 car.
Well, good thing for Hartley. Hartley's got the teammate split. Hartley now, can he make a pass on the return straight after the turnaround, or does he have to do it here? He's thinking he's got to do it here. The problem now is he's going to leave Martineau with a chance to get pushed.
Yeah, he just opened the door for Nakamata to come up. And look at this as Vidal and Rutledge decide to pick that inside lane as well, making things more difficult as Hartley gets very aggressive coming over the inside curbing, but he is held to the outside. Can he carry the speed here? But we'll check back in a second as Stephen Hudek takes the win in round number 2 in the TCRs.
Watch Hartley. He's still there, though, on the inside. He's managed to survive that outside loop. He's going to have the inside here, but he's got to get a nose ahead before the final corner. I don't see it. You got to be on the inside in this final corner.
No, and it's not going to happen, Larry, as they come into the final corner now and out onto the front straight as Nakamata pulls right alongside Hartley, but coming to the line as Hartley moves inside, try to cut him off. Taking the win in round number 2 is Cameron Martineau from Samantha Tan Racing. Robert Hartley will finish 2nd. Joey Rutledge brings the Wrong Stuff Toyota home in 3rd, with Nakamata finishing 4th. Josh Vidal 5th. That's that front pack. Over in the TCRs, as we mentioned, Stephen Hudek from SRT Esports. He takes the win. Chris Thorman from D2D will finish in 2nd. And Casey Knight, now, Larry, after taking that drive-through penalty for the contact with Noah Hogg, he will finish in 3rd ahead of Dale Maxwell.
What amazing racing. I tell you what, that GR class was some impressive stuff. Respectful racing, minimal contact, a chess match, unbelievable stuff. And then the excellence of the night here. Stephen Hudek just dominant in the TCRs here in this opening round, getting both wins. I'm really looking forward to talking to some of these winners. This was a great way to kick off the first round of this new season.
Yeah, indeed, Larry. And honestly, I cannot wait for round number 2 in 2 weeks where we're going to be at Alton Park. And if you liked what you saw here tonight, you can still sign up and get on the grid with these racers. Go to xmsracing.com/TCC-shop. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to some of our race winners here tonight at Watkins Glen International, where you've just seen the first round of season number 26, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, where we've just seen round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod and that guy who put stuff in the chat. His name is Jonathan Grabowski, by the way. Run, John. All right, let's take a look. We do now have a couple of our race winners in the chat. Larry, who do we want to talk to first?
Let's talk to Lucas.
Let's talk to Lucas Dragotta, driver of, well, he drove something tonight. Driver
the GR86.
The Thomas Eng Toyota GR86, our winner from race 1.
All right, joining us here is our round 1 winner in the GR86, Lucas Dragotta. Lucas, second race a little tough there with the spin of the bus stop, but let's talk about that first race. You had a fantastic run there. You and Cameron, nose to tail. Walk me through some of the strategy to pick a dance partner and push them along to try and help yourself finish in that top position.
Yeah, well, I've been racing these cars for like a whole week, a couple weeks ago in officials. So basically know everything about racing here. Every move that you can make, and that you should bump draft like the whole race and then pass them in the final 2 laps.
It worked out quite well, but you get those other wild cards. You're in there with some of these guys, like I mentioned, Cameron Martineau, you got Joey Rutledge in there. Joey seemed to want to mix it up. He wasn't content waiting for the last lap. Did you get a sense as Joey or some of the others would try to break up the bump drafting a little bit?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the racecraft there is not ideal. I think you want to push till the end, but if you're like 4th, you want to get to 3rd as much as you can, so it's tricky. But also you don't want to make a gap in front of you, because then people will just pull away, and that's what I think killed me in the second race.
Yeah, it is tough. Once that gap is gone, the front pack disappears down the road. But you made a heck of a run there. It was certainly exciting, and that to be able to win around here, whether it's and win the opening round here, it definitely means quite a bit to you. Are you excited about the rest of the season now after having one under your belt? Know what this racing is going to be like?
Oh yeah, I love these cars a lot. The racing's awesome. I can't get enough of it. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about some of the tracks. I've only raced 2 tracks in these cars, so I'm open to learn about more. But yeah.
Super exciting. This was a ton of fun to watch, and seeing how that opening round went. Great, clean racing, and I'm excited for the rest of this season as well. So awesome job, but I know you've got friends, family, teammates, and others you probably want to give a mention to.
Oh yeah. First of all, my family, brother gives me setups. My mom, dad cheer me on. I would to thank Robert Schwenkler. He gave me his setup. I like to thank my team, Thomas Engie Sim Racing, and that's about it.
All right, well, awesome job tonight getting the round 1 win here in the GR class. Lucas Jagoda from Thomas Engie Sim Racing. Congrats.
All right.
She's busy.
Yeah.
She's not. I wouldn't say she's like Max, where like he's like racing with them and everything. But
Yeah, 'cause I hung out with her.
All right, let's try that one more time.
Let's try that again.
There we go.
There we
Cameron
go.
Martineau. Instead of, we're not going to interview Jonathan Grabowski at this point.
I was
but
trying
Cameron,
to throw him to the wolves and Rachel.
Cameron, we will interview you. You had a fantastic evening tonight. Both races right there in the mix, getting the win in the second one. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to go side by side every single lap for basically an hour in these cars.
it's exhausting, Larry. I'm sweating so bad right now. Like, I feel like I would have actually done like an actual race, you know, like in a 100-degree car, like a good spin.
Unbelievable, yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
the
know.
first race, it was you and Lucas kind of working together a little bit. Second race, so you had a teammate in there with Ruby. How different was it? And how much was it any easier or harder having a teammate at least in that front mix with you?
Oh, it was the whole difference. I mean, I have to give credit where credit is due, because I don't think I would have won that race without Ruby being right there. You know, we talked when we were kind of linked up, and it was just like, you know, one of us is going to win this race. You know, we're going to make sure that, you know, we have to do whatever we can so that one of us is on the top step. So we were really trying to get that 1-2 at the end there. Robert really held Ruby off really well at the end, and it looked like Joey just got the run. So it was fantastic. And, you know, having Ruby, she was pretty much the reason why, you know, we were able to run away from the rest of the pack and, you know, be there at the end. You know, we had been practicing all week together too. So really hats off. She drove amazing today, and, you know, especially against some really, really high level competition here.
Yeah, it was really great racing there. It was so much fun to watch. A lot of super respectful racing. I can't count how many times 2 of these cars, or all 4, went side by side, 2 by 2 through that bus stop without really a whole lot of contact. And it really speaks volumes of the skills of that front group. Obviously yourself and Ruby, 2 of the stars in that first couple of races.
Yeah, you know, with people like, you know, Robert Hartley, who's, you know, one of the best drivers on the whole system, and, you know, Joey, have a lot of trust in him, especially after, you know, race 1. Yeah, hats off to them. They drove amazing. It was such a fun 30-minute race here, and such a fun, you know, whole hour event. You know, we're really looking forward to round 2, and, you know, if this is how the entire season's gonna be, then I think everyone is gonna be in for a show.
Yeah, we're looking forward now to this. This is a pretty exciting way to get things kicked off, and for you, great results here with a couple of great finishes in both races, including the win here in the second round. How much does this motivate you to now to go back in and start working harder for the next round in 2 weeks?
Oh, this right here, you know, I'm smiling. I'm going to, you know, enjoy this great night here, and then, yeah, we'll be putting our head down, because, yeah, we have a shot here to, you know, have a really good season. We started off on, I think, probably the best that we could really ask for, and, you know, I think the work doesn't stop here. It's just begun. So I'm excited for round 2, and yeah, hopefully can stay consistent.
Yeah, we're super excited about it as well. But I know that you've talked a little bit about your one teammate, but I'm sure you got teammate, friends, and family and others that help you earn this victory here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I want to give a big shout out to Samantha Tan with Samantha Tan Racing, because she's really the reason why Ruby and I can link up like this, and she gives us so much support and encouragement and advice from, you know, her IRL racing, and, you know, great organization to be a part of. Sim Science, they've been really helpful with us getting data, and then the guys over at World of Racing headquarters we've got some great teammates over there. So they all made it possible, and I really want to give a big shout out to all my friends and family and girlfriend that are watching the broadcast and Twitch stream right now. So couldn't do it without the support of everyone around us. It's a team effort. So thank you guys.
All right, well, congrats again on getting a win here tonight, and a huge haul of points as well for you and the team from Samantha Tan Racing. Your winner in round 2 tonight, Cameron Martineau. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Larry, let's move over now to TCR and taking the win here in our second race of the evening, driving the number 44 SRT Esport Hyundai, Stephen Hudak.
All right, Stephen Hudak is joining us here. And Stephen, a couple of exciting races, but once you settle in and you got those passes done, you were kind of in cruise control. But it was work to get there for sure in both of those first and second rounds. Tell me a little bit about the side-by-side and all the racing you had to get through to earn these wins.
Yeah, it was an interesting first heat. I didn't get the cleanest run in qualifying, but still on the front row, not too bad. Got out to the lead early, and I think it was lap 2 or 3. I think the tires not fully up to temperature, but this wind that we had in the session was really pushing the back end of the car through the last couple of corners, and that's why I went way wide, just trying to save it without looping it. Yeah. But you know, getting back up to the field was pretty fun. Used a bit of traffic to my advantage. I think both times that I got up into the lead. But yeah, the traffic was really fun to use as picks, and just timing the passes, and you know, I think that was probably one of the strengths that I had during the events.
Yeah, and a couple of passes, the pass to get around, of course, Noah, and then the pass right before the yellow came out in that first race there with Casey Knight. I mean, that was unbelievable, going a couple of wide there off of the carousel, trying to get around some of the traffic. And then suddenly, about a couple corners later, you get hit with the yellow. At that point, you're thinking to yourself, at least I just got the pass done, and it could have been a bit different starting behind that group instead of in front.
I'll tell you what, guys, when that full course yellow came out, I was the happiest person ever, because I underfueled the car by about
it was you
liter.
On the radio who said that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. I did my calculation before the race, and I was like, okay, 36 liters, that'll be enough fuel. And then I get in after the first couple of racing laps, and it's telling me I need to put about 0.3 liters in at the stop, and I go, shoot. So I started fuel saving a little bit, and then when the full course yellow came out, I was elated. I was like, okay, I'm saved. But yeah, no, it was a really good battles that I had with Noah and Casey and everybody else that was racing in TCR tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, and a lot of skill to win the race. Sometimes a little bit of luck to be able to use all the fuel and not run out to get you through to those victories. But awesome job here tonight, and we're looking forward to it again in a couple of rounds. But I know that you and the team put together a pretty big effort here. I'm sure you want to give them a quick mention.
Yeah, of course. The SRT guys are amazing. These touring cars aren't exactly our forte. Like for me, like these TCRs are new to me. I haven't really driven these a whole lot, and trying to get the car set up, dialed in. John's done an amazing job. We're both learning, so there's still definitely room for improvement there. But everyone does an amazing job at SRT. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my wife, who supports me in all of that I do here. I'd like to thank my dad for watching. I know he's sitting at home watching the broadcast, and yeah, you guys put on a great show. XMS puts on a great series, and I'll be looking forward to. Unfortunately, I will not be able to get to the next race because my wife and I are heading to Japan on Thursday.
That's right.
So I'll be missing that round and the Suzuka round. Although I will be physically.
You'll be at Suzuka.
Enjoy. Well, you get to enjoy the Grand Prix and enjoy a little bit of sushi while the rest of us are still waiting for spring to hit in this part of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So awesome job, though. Congrats. And enjoy that trip to Japan that you and the wife are taking. That just sounds amazing, and I'm absolutely jealous. I've been there for work a couple times, and it is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm sure the Grand Prix track is pretty awesome too. But yeah, congrats on all of that, and we'll see you again in another month, it sounds like, at least for this series. But for tonight, you get to soak in a couple of wins here in the opening rounds from SRT Esports, getting a win in both of them. Stephen Hudek, congrats.
Thanks, Larry, Greg, and John. Have a good night.
All right, have a great night, Stephen. All right, Larry, so that's going to wrap things up tonight from Watkins Glen International. Let's quickly take a look at what we've got coming up in a few weeks. Over the next few weeks. Next week, March 30th, Monday night at the usual 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, the Ricmotech World Challenge returns for our GT3, LMP2, and GTP racers. It's round number 6, and well, Stephen will be at the real Suzuka, and the World Challenge will be at the virtual one for another 75-minute race. That's round 6 of 8. And then in 2 weeks, as we mentioned, Monday night, April 6th, the Touring Car Cup heads to Alton Park, and it's going to be the special no chicane version. There you go. We don't want no chicanes. If you want to join the grid though in the Touring Car Cup, if you like the racing that you saw tonight, head on over to xmsracing.com/TCC-shop. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for that guy that we call Jonathan Grabowski that we've been hiding, just furiously, we don't want anybody like Rachel to find out who he is and where he may live in New England.
Don't go there.
I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you next Monday night.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.